Right now we've got a fantastic presentation now. This guy, another guy, who's been here with me on my journey right from the start. Okay, another guy who's done many presentations with me on geoengineering, but tonight he's going to speak about cannabis. Can you give a massive round of applause? He's come all the way from Kent tonight. Ben Dodds. Come on, give him a massive round of applause.
Thank you very much, Mona. You're a star. Now, honestly, I'd just like to thank Mona for setting up these events. This is the third one, Sky's the Limit, and they're getting better each time. Each time they're more amazing. But yeah, like Mona said, we met through geoengineering and chemtrails and speaking about it, but tonight I'm going to speak about cannabis. It's another one of my passions. And I just want to dispel some of the myths for you and get rid of some of the psyop and the bullshit for it. So, I'm a recreational cannabis smoker. Is there anyone else out here who smokes it recreationally? Yay, cool. Yay. I'm not going to talk about that tonight. I'm actually going to talk about the other benefits of cannabis, if that's all right. So, basically, does anyone know the history of cannabis in the last 100 years at all? No?
One of our queens used to smoke it for period pain.
Exactly, yes. Medicine, as they say. I'd just like to tell you my story is that a couple of years ago I was growing cannabis because I didn't want to pay the extortionate amounts on the street, so I decided to grow it myself. Anyway, I got raided and my life changed for about a year, where I was put through the fucking ringer, going through Crown prosecution, dealing with probation officers, dealing with the police. But basically it made me look into it. So for the majority of my life I'd been smoking something that I thought, yeah, it was illegal. It probably was bad for me, but I wasn't into that. I was just up for smoking it and getting high. After getting arrested, I realised, looking into the information, it's like, what had I done wrong? I was growing, I was not selling it to anyone, it was all for personal use, but I was criminalised. Like, now I can't travel to America for a few years, I might not be able to get a particular job that I wanted to get, but I always maintained a job even when I was smoking it. So anyway, after I'd been through this process where I went on drug testing, so I had to be swabbed once a week to make sure that I wasn't smoking cannabis, otherwise I'd be put back through the courts and probably put in prison. And it was due to the amount that I had, so there was a certain amount that they said was too much. Anyway, so it made me look into it, and I was absolutely shocked that the thing that I've been smoking is one of the most beneficial things on the planet. I mean, tonight we've heard a lot about Agenda 21 and Monsanto, GM crops and all that, and we talk about solutions, but cannabis is one of the solutions. It's the most natural product you can get, and it's so versatile. So, the people out here, can you give me an example of what cannabis is good for? That's it. Okay, so one we just start off with is sort of building textiles. So when it comes to hempcrete, they call it, it's the most durable, the most strongest product that you can ever get in that's ever existed. But so we fall down to the reasons why it's illegal. So this most beneficial plant is illegal. Obviously, we're told it's illegal because of the psychoactive reaction it has in our head. It's bad for us. It'll give you, later on in life, you can get psychosis from it. But actually look, in the last 10 years, there's been a tide changing where people are actually allowed to test cannabis and see what the benefits are, which, because it's been illegal since the 1920s, we haven't been able to do in this modern age of science. So what has actually happened is in the last 10 years, like if you go to a website called Normal UK, who are the forerunners for taking this forward in the UK, if you look into it, there are 700 studies that have been done into the medical benefits of cannabis. So that may be MS, it may be cancer, it's prevention of cancer as well as treating cancer when you've got it, but there's so many uses in the medicine industry that are now coming to light for us only because now they've been able to test it. So what we've got is, if it had never been made illegal in 1920, we would be living in an age now probably where cancer isn't a big thing on our minds, certain illnesses aren't big on our minds, but obviously that's what's wanted at the moment, isn't it? We're all scared, we can all get diseases and all this. But anyway, so to cut through it, what we've got is a history where back in the day you had a massive logging industry, newspapers, before the radio. Anyway, you had a machine that was invented in the 1920s in Popular Mechanics magazine in America in the 1920s where hemp could be filtered and pulped so you could make paper out of it, you could make textiles, you could make clothing. There was a lot of industries at the time that didn't want this, a very durable, natural product. For instance, DuPont Chemical Industries, everyone's heard of these, massive French company. They are the people that supplied the chemicals to the logging companies so they could pulp trees. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but trees are the worst fucking thing you can actually use for paper. You have to do so many processes to get paper out of a tree. When it comes to cannabis, in one season, you can grow a whole acre of a field that will produce that paper instead of waiting like 100 years to... So we could revolutionise the logging industry for one, straight away through legalising cannabis. So regardless of medicine, regardless of just getting off our nut. Anyway, so yeah, solutions. Like, we're in an age right now where we're all becoming wise. There's so much bullshit being thrown at us at the moment. There always has been, but we're all getting wise to it, and we're looking for solutions to it. The problem we're having at the moment is because we're living in this age of conspiracy, there's a lot of what I'd call psyop that's being set up to throw us off course. So when it comes to certain subjects like, say, geoengineering or GM crops and that, we have an age at the moment where they're quite taboo subjects. Certain people don't believe they even exist. When it comes to cannabis, it's one of the movements that you've now got in this country. About 80%, 85% of people, regardless of if they smoke cannabis or whatever, believe it should be legalised for other reasons. That's the age. So it's one of the most... it's the only movement we have at the moment. It's very accessible for so many people. And it could change the world if it was legalised. But we're living in an age where it could be subverted. Because what we're looking at, and talking about GM crops earlier, is genetically modified cannabis. Yeah. So if the pharmaceutical industries, which is what it's all about at the moment, it's all about the medicine, if they are able to get their hands on cannabis, but without it getting legalised, that is their plan. Yeah. So, GW Pharmaceuticals. Sativex, yeah, Sativex, yeah. So I'm from Maidstone, which is in Kent. 10 miles up the road from me in Sittingbourne is a place that grows 30 tonnes of cannabis a year for the purpose of making a tincture for MS. So what they've done is they've put about 20 quid's worth of street cannabis into a bottle, add a little bit of alcohol, and then through the NHS it costs about 250 quid. So they inflate the price. So we're living in an age now where the UK government have already put in a system where if we all start protesting and legalise cannabis, it's going to be taken away from us and turned into something completely different. So it will be denied for the recreational smoker, but it will be available for medicine. So we've got to keep on our toes and make sure we stay ahead of their game, because that's what's happening. They're getting wise, that we're getting wise. So we've all got to just stay ahead of the game on everything. Freedom. And everyone, again, Mona, you're a star. Thanks very much for speaking.